You know, with 5 national championships and more than 1,000 wins, Mike Krzyzewski has had a remarkable career. He's one of the most accomplished coaches in college hoops history. All of that's undeniable, right?
Sure, of course.
He's got 1 season left. So today, let's celebrate and reflect on many of the most memorable Coach K moments. This is a special tribute I put together to Coach K called I'll Never Forget.
I love this idea.
Okay.
You've been waiting all day for this.
I'll never forget the Blue Devils' 103-73 loss to UNLV in the 1990 NCAA championship game. Coach K, you made history because that remains the largest margin of defeat in a title game. I'll never forget the 1992 NCAA regional final when Christian Laettner stomped on the chest of a Kentucky player. Laettner went on to make the shot to win the game. Kentucky coach Rick Pitino said at the time, "We should have won the game because Laettner should have been thrown out and ejected." Hey, Coach K's teams occasionally caught breaks from the refs.
Occasionally, yeah.
You remember that, Mitch?
I was like 14. I'll never forget that, ever.
I'll never forget the 1994-95 season when Coach K left the team after 12 games. A home loss to Clemson in early January, citing a back injury and exhaustion. Assistant coach Pete Gaudette led the team to a 4-15 record, including 2-14 in ACC play the rest of the way. And all of those losses went on Gaudette's permanent record, contrary to the practice at most other schools. I'll never forget when you guided the U.S. Olympic team, a motley crew of cast-offs, junkyard dogs, and misfits such as Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Dwayne Wade. The 3 improbable gold medals. Your 21-point victory over Angola in 2008 remains a coaching masterpiece. I'll never forget March 2014 when the 14th-seeded Mercer Bears stunned Duke 78-71 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. You were outcoached that day by Bob Hoffman, a former women's coach. I'll never forget how often you manipulated the refs to get calls to go your way in big games. For example, the 2015 NCAA title game when Wisconsin's 9-point lead with 13 minutes remaining disappeared in a whirlwind of whistles. The Badgers were called for 13 fouls to the Blue Devils' 6 in the second half, while Duke had 20 free throw attempts, 10 more than Wisconsin. Do you remember that, Mitch?
Matt, I tried to go back and watch it again yesterday. I wanted to throw up in my mouth, and I thought to myself, I wonder how much money it would take me to watch this game from start to finish again. And I thought maybe I would watch it again for $1,000. Maybe.
I'll never forget Duke's 14-point loss to Oregon in the 2016 Sweet 16. Coach K pulled Duck star Dylan Brooks aside, lectured him for his on-court celebration. After the game, he lied in the press conference about what he said to Brooks.
Yeah, classy move, Coach K.
You stole my line. Coach K, a class act all the way. I'll never forget the 2016-17 season when your indefinite suspension of star guard Grayson Allen for repeatedly tripping opposing players taught a dirty player a harsh lesson. After a loss to a mediocre Virginia Tech team, Coach K reinstated Allen after 1 game. I'll never forget Stephen F. Austin. In November 2019, your number 1 ranked Blue Devils lost as 27-point favorites against the unranked Lumberjacks at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The box score showed Stephen F. Austin attempted 17 free throws. Duke attempted 40.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
I'll never forget March 31st, 2019. You had 3 top 10 picks in that year's NBA draft: Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish. Yet failed to reach the Final Four after a loss to Michigan State. I'll never forget your desperate, pathetic campaign to get this past college basketball season postponed after home losses to Michigan State and Illinois in early December. It was foolish to play during the COVID pandemic, you said, although most other coaches disagreed, and the season continued, and you sarcastically berated a student reporter and eventually concluded with your 13-11 team missing the NCAA tournament. I'll never forget the NCAA taking no action on rules violation allegations against Corey Maggette, Chris Duhon, and Zion. I'll never forget the smirk, the ego, the pompous American Express commercial, the nasal toned voice, the whining after foul calls, and of course, I'll never forget the black hair dye.
A+, Matt. Excellent. What we're betting today, In Pocket Plays, coming up next.